Okay guys, so a little video here on how to graph this square root function with a bunch of transformations in it, and also do the other couple things I asked for in our homework. The first thing I asked is to identify the parent graph. So for this one, our parent graph would be square root of x. And that will also play into writing g of x in terms of f of x. So pretty much f of x is my parent function. I have to look at what's inside here. So only x and what it got replaced with. So g of x is, instead of just f of x, I replaced x with negative 1/3 x plus 1. That all went under my square root. And then outside the radical here, we had that plus 1. So that would be writing g of x in terms of f of x. The next thing I asked was the sequence of transformations and finding our points to sketch the graph. So those are going to kind of play into each other, and I'm just going to get started with one method for graphing these, which right now I'm going to do like 3 original points for my parent function. So my parent function is this square root of x. So 3 original points from that would be these guys. And then thinking about our transformations. Now, don't forget, first thing first is I need to factor. So whenever there is an x coefficient, we need to separate it. And then that'll change what's next to x, so that plus 1 will change to a minus 3. And now I can actually analyze what's going to happen to this function. So one way I like to do it is just first see what's going to happen to the x's. And those are these 2 things in here. We've got that negative 1/3 and the 3. And we should go in that order. We go in PEMDAS order, so multiplication first. And remember, anything inside, so that negative 1/3, we're taking the opposite of. So what I'm really going to be doing is multiplying my x's by negative 3. All right, and I'm going to write under it, this is going to be a horizontal stretch. And then, instead of that plus, or sorry, the minus 3, we are adding 3 to the x's. So this would move our x's to the right 3. So those are going to be my changes for the x's. For the y's, I'll use like a green color here. We only have one thing going on. It's anything outside the parent function. It's the plus 1, and that behaves just like it looks in our equation. So we're adding 1 to the y's. So I'm going to take this new, little 2 equations and apply that to all my x points originally. So my new points are going to be, maybe I'll just write it down here, I think, so we're just a little more organized. So our old points were 0, 0. I'm trying to think of how I want to organize this best. Well, I think you guys can just handle it, right? We're doing negative 3x plus 3 to the x's, so that's going to turn into 3. And we're doing y plus 1 to the y's, 1. I'm going to do the same thing with the second point. So negative 3 plus 3, that would turn into 0. Y plus 1 would go to 2. And my last point for 2, so I'd have negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. And then y, so 2 plus 1 is 3. So here will be my 3 new points on my graph. I'm going to go ahead and graph this on here. So 3, 1, 0, 2. And negative 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's negative 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. And that would be my final graph here. So that's one option for graphing, taking those coordinates and changing them.